Hey, Dr. Ali Mattu here. On this episode, I am reviewing the emotional first aid kit from the School of Life. So I found out about this company actually from a patient of mine. They are a international educational organization that also happens to have a store, I believe in London, that sells these really beautiful, well-designed mental health products. I wanted to check it out to see if they're actually have good quality information in them and are useful, or if they're just really pretty. The School of Lice, the School of Lice. That would not be a popular company. The School of Life also has a popular YouTube channel, so you can check that out. I also just wanted to support any kind of organization that's selling mental health products, because there's not many of them, and if there are, they usually don't tend to be well designed. So any organization that might be doing that, I want to support them. That's a lot bigger than I thought this thing would be. I thought in the photos it looks like this small card thing, but this is actually really big. Let's turn this down so you can see this. This was about $20 on their website. Here is an index card with one of my last episodes, and you can see this is like a big index card, and you can see this thing is pretty big. Wise emergency advice for 20 key psychological situations. Let's check this out. I love the smell of a new product. So far, I like this packaging. I'm just gonna sort of take all the cards out and let's kind of go through this. Looks like they're kind of sorted out by like topics. I have an enemy. I've been betrayed in love. Another terrible argument. I will never find the right partner. I'm going to be disgraced. I suffer from FOMO. I'm a failure. I've wasted my life. There's one on envy. I don't want to give away everything because I want to protect their intellectual property. I can't sleep. That's a good one. Everyone wants to improve their quality of sleep. Number one, they say, is try to find the root cause. I kind of like that. As a behavioralist, I'm always asking the question, what's the function of the behavior? Let's see what they say. It started out good, but then it kind of went, insomnia is the mind's revenge for something important we have forgotten to do in the day, namely think. Most of us do, of course, have a great deal on our minds during the daylight hours, but these tend to be practical, procedural, immediate matters, the sort that keep at bay the larger, deeper questions about our direction, purpose, and values. Yeah, maybe, or maybe you're not able to fall asleep because you're not sleepy and you went to bed too early, or you've been reading the news in bed, or something else. Number two is think philosophically. It's tempting to think of philosophy as a remote, specialized discipline of relevance to only a few academically minded sorts. But what philosophy really wants from us, which is that we should lead an examined, self-aware life. I don't debate that. Living a life that's consistent with your values and finding meaning is super important, something I try to help a lot of people to do. But that's not where I'm going to start with difficulty sleeping. Okay, there's nothing in here that would draw from really evidence-based treatments for difficulty sleeping or for insomnia. So CBTI, cognitive behavioral therapy I, would have people monitor patterns of sleeplessness, try to understand what's contributing to that. It would move into sleep hygiene, things like having a nighttime routine that's the same every night. Only going to bed when you're sleepy. If you can't fall asleep in 15 minutes, to get out of bed and to do something that's relaxing or boring. It would also focus on things like improving the quality of your sleep. Maybe using earplugs if you're experiencing sounds, or getting blackout shades so you're not woken up by all of the lights and interference. I'm not seeing any of that over here. This is not a good sign. I'm not liking where this is headed. Addiction. Let's talk about this one. I've made a video about addiction. You should check that out. That kind of dives through trying to understand why we might get connected to things or substances when we don't have enough of that connection elsewhere in our life. Let's see if this explores any of that sort of stuff. Number 1, addiction diverts us from our difficult lives. All right, I'm with you here. Number 2, we become addicted because we're sad. So it's focusing a lot on sadness as causing addiction. A lot of people I work with might use substances to manage anxiety, or they might use it to address anger. So it's more than just sadness, but I like the overall direction of this card. This one doesn't really tell you much of what to do. Let's do another one here that I know very well, and that is anger. A lot of the treatments related to anger are about distress tolerance, finding ways of coping with that distress, getting yourself a little bit of distance away from the thing that's causing you anger so you don't do something impulsive. It's about soothing your body, creating different emotions. Number 1, sadness does not always, they keep talking about sadness here, sadness does not always have to make us angry. When we start to reduce the danger of anger through the insight that not everything that makes us sad makes us angry. I don't know what that sentence means. Someone who's really pissed off and needs this card picks it up, might have a hard time understanding what this says. The writing here is a little wordy. Number 2, serenity begins with pessimism. A person who loses their temperature with every airline employee or partner evinces? That word is really not commonly used. A curious belief that perfection is an option for the human animal. Oh my gosh, this writing is aiming really high in terms of the audience. I don't think this is a product for everyone. There's no skill here. It's just trying to get you to think a little bit differently. That can be a skill, a helpful skill, is to change your perspective on things and to change your perspective on anger. I would want this to have direct things that you can do right now to bring your rage down. All right, so having read all of these cards, one thing I'm lacking is a lot of what I thought would be emotional first aid. I made a video about psychological first aid and what we should do when people are in a crisis or coming out of crisis. And so much of that initial response is active, is making sure that they're safe, that they have information, that they know where to go to get additional help and how to get connected to their sources of support. I don't see a lot of active stuff here. There is one big exception that I saw that I thought was great, and that was actually on the card about sex. And there is a skill here called sensate focus, which is based on a highly evidence-based intervention for people who might be experiencing sexual problems. You can YouTube that and or YouTube that in the search field and learn more about sensate focus. I can't go into that here without probably losing my monetization for this video. But then I also read the card called I'm So Lonely, and so much of this card was about how loneliness is inevitable and all these things about loneliness without really anything about what to do to feel more connected to folks. I like how they all begin with some kind of validating statement that helps you to understand the universality of these experiences, but there's not a lot of depth of what to do. For $20, I think you're better off getting a self-help book on a topic that you need specific help with. I'm not recommending the emotional first aid kit. Do you have this product? If so, what did you think? Let me know in the comments below. And while you're down there, let me know what you want me to review next. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want more fun and easy psychology and mental health videos, subscribe to the Psych Show. And if you want to help me make more content and get behind the scenes stuff in return, consider becoming a patron on Patreon.